Hi people. Today I'm just going to give a small introduction to endgames, like what they are, how to define them, what you should aim for and how to save a losing game. So, let's get started. What is an endgame? An endgame is the final phase of a chess game. Most of the pieces have been traded off. Just because there are less pieces doesn't mean the game is going to get any easier. Now you've probably heard of bishop endgames or queen endgames. How do we define them? To determine what type of endgame we have to look at the pieces left on the board. This is a bishop endgame. Only bishops and pawns. Knight endgame. Only knights and pawns. Rook endgame. Just rooks and pawns. Queen endgame. Queen and pawns left. If there are no other pieces left, just king and pawns, that is called a pawn endgame. Now if there are two or more types of pieces on the board, that's called a mixed endgame. Now during the endgame, the king has to have an active role. Can't be tucked away like it was during the middle game. During the middle game the king has to be tucked away because there are a lot of pieces on the board. But in an endgame the king can be out. But it still needs to be careful enough to not walk into a mating net. Now if we use our king correctly we can win the game or save ourselves from a worse position. Now, what's a very good thing we can have during the endgame? A passed pawn. A passed pawn is a pawn that can't be captured or blocked by enemy pawns. And will hopefully reach the promotion square. Now it's a very good idea to make passed pawns during the endgame. This is an example of creating a passed pawn. Now the pawn can be promoted. No enemy pawn can stop a passed pawn. So that leaves the job to another piece. Like here. Passed pawns are very dangerous if they're near the promotion square. As long as they are well protected it's good to have them. You can always just threaten promotion. Now you want to secure the path for your passed pawn. You want to use your army to help that passed pawn get through. If you don't, you're just sending it to die. Now how can endgames end? Well, you can win. Either by checkmate or on time. You can also lose. By either checkmate or on time. Now you can also draw. You can both agree to a draw. Stalemate. Perpetual check. Or draw by repetition. Stalemate is when it's a player's turn and they have no legal moves. Like so. No square to move to and no piece to move either. Now perpetual check is when you constantly give checks. Now this can be a draw by a rule called threefold repetition rule. It's just when a position is reached 3 times in a row you can call for a draw. Draw by repetition is the same thing as that rule. Position made 3 times and you're able to call for a draw. Couple more things. You can't checkmate with a single bishop. You need another piece. Or a single knight. You also need another piece for that. Which is why we try to make a passed pawn in knight and bishop endgames. But we'll get more into those endgames later on. And if it wasn't so obvious already. You can't checkmate with just a king. Just a draw. There is your small introduction to endgames. I hope you guys learned something from this video. And there's nothing much more I have to say. So, thanks for watching. And bye people.